The latest revelation in the Joe Biden corruption and bribery scandal is that while Joe Biden was vice president, he had a secret phone that he used to make these international deals. Now, let's remember that Joe Biden has denied any knowledge of these deals, any involvement in them. All he says is, I'm proud of my son Hunter. He's the smartest guy I know. But Joe Biden clearly is involved. But how is he involved? Well, it turns out that there is a way to contact him. He does participate, but he can't do it using his house phone, and he can't do it using his office phone. And so he has a secret phone. Now, this is something that was found by the researcher Peter Schweitzer. He was on Maria Bartiromo's show, and he made the observation that Joe Biden's phone is paid for by Hunter Biden's firm. Now, all of this makes complete sense, right? You've got this bribery racket. The bribery racket is, in this case, there's a larger element to it, but in this case being conducted through Hunter Biden and his partners. The money flows into the Hunter Biden companies. It's then transferred to Hunter's own LLC. It then goes to Joe Biden. So Joe Biden is actively involved, but they have to find a way to communicate with him that is not, that doesn't seem to be traceable. And so that's why the secret phone. Now, the private phone line it's an AT&T phone. And I find it very interesting that AT&T seemingly has been hanging on to this information because presumably AT&T knew this. This is also something that with all these investigations underway, supposedly, I say supposedly, an FBI investigation, certainly an IRS investigation, you think AT&T would have provided this phone information, but they didn't. Here's Schweitzer. He says it was a global phone where you could access somebody anywhere around the world. And Peter also says that he shared the phone number and the account information with the people over at the House Oversight Committee. So this is actually very good news because it means that the Oversight Committee will be on top of this. Now, I mentioned yesterday that Hunter Biden had sent a message to a fellow named Henry Zhao, Z-H-A-O, the CEO of Harvest Fund Management. This is a Chinese guy with deep connections in China. So this is the Chinese operation that the Bidens were running. And in the text, which I quoted yesterday, but I'll just paraphrase today, Hunter Biden basically goes, pay up. He goes, you promised, you agreed to pay, you haven't paid, and I'm getting annoyed, and I'm sitting here with my dad, Joe Biden, and listen, if I don't hear from you right away, this guy is going to go into action, and I'm going to also go into action, and we're going to make you pay for not having paid. And guess what? Just days after Hunter threatened this Chinese official with Joe, quote, in the room, $5.1 million moved from China to the Hunter Biden entities. And then, as I also mentioned yesterday, this all occurred. Hunter Biden sent this message to the Chinese guy, Henry Zhao, while at Joe Biden's residence in Delaware. So his claim that Joe Biden was in the room wasn't, it seems, idle boasting, but looks to be an accurate description of the fact that the two of them were together at the time. So this is all escalating in a very interesting way. I think it's now dawning on the House. Debbie was quoting an article to me today where House representatives are now realizing that this is now moving into very plausible impeachment territory, not just for Merrick Garland, not just for Mayorkas. For Joe Biden, this is the way to get him. His border policies are horrible, but it's difficult to get a president on a policy issue. It's much easier to get him on sheer, outright, blatant, brazen corruption. Corruption that, by the way, the media is starting to take an interest in, although they're very protective of Biden. I mean, just imagine if this had been Trump or the Trump family, this would be all over the place. Trump and his family wouldn't be able to move without being screamed at by baying hordes of reporters. So the discrepancy, the kind of glaring difference in coverage between Trump and Biden is not something that should go unnoticed. Now, the House Oversight Committee has been digging into this, and the latest from Representative Comer, we're talking about over a network of over 20 companies set up by the Bidens. Quote, most of these companies were limited liability companies formed during Joe Biden's vice presidency. So this is not the case where the Bidens beforehand decided, let's go into business, let's set up some companies. No, they set up the companies for the purpose of the international bribery racket. And the number of Bidens involved is several. Hunter Biden, James Biden, Sarah Biden, Hallie Biden, Kathleen Biden, Melissa Biden. There's a niece or nephew involved, a second niece or nephew involved. There's even a grandchild involved. And the point being, not that all these people are active, but that they are conduits for money to flow. Imagine money is flowing to Hallie Biden. Money is flowing to Kathleen Biden, to nieces and nephews, to grandchildren. That's because Joe can't take the money directly. It's kind of like, listen, don't pay me. Pay that guy over there. Don't make me look bad. Somebody could be recording this. Let's pretend to just be having a conversation. This is the guy who is currently occupying the White House.